The guests laughed. The staff smirked. The manager told her she didn't belong. What they didn't know was that she wasn't a guest. She was there to expose a secret, and in just 17 minutes, she'd shut the whole place down. Jordan Blake didn't scream, she didn't threaten, she didn't carry a press badge or a legal warrant. She walked through the lobby like any other visitor, calm, invisible, overlooked. But she wasn't there to check in, she wasn't there to stay, she was there to finish something that started 2 years earlier, when her name was erased, her credentials stripped, and her career burned for asking the wrong questions. That day, she walked into the Horizon Grand with no reservation, and walked out having triggered a federal investigation. But how did a woman with no room booked, no backup, and no clearance take down one of the most powerful luxury hotel chains in America from the inside? Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Who was she? Why did she walk into a 5-star hotel, armed with no reservation, no luggage, and no intention of staying the night? Why did the staff laugh? And what exactly did she uncover that brought a national chain to its knees? Her name was Jordan Blake. Not a name known to most, but one that now sends waves through boardrooms and legal departments across the country. She didn't arrive to complain about a room. She didn't come for brunch, spa access, or some celebrity event. She came alone. No entourage, no media. Just Jordan and what she carried inside her bag. Documents, recordings, and a plan meticulously laid out over the course of nearly 2 years. Gregory Stone, the manager on duty that day, had run the Horizon Grand Hotel for over a decade. He was known for being polished, exacting, and unshakably confident. His presence was enough to intimidate lower-level staff into silence, and his connections within the chain had kept him untouchable for years. But even Gregory didn't recognize the danger when Jordan walked through those revolving glass doors. She was just another woman, just another face. The Horizon Grand Hotel had long been considered one of the city's shining gems, a symbol of class, wealth, and tradition. Politicians hosted fundraisers there. Celebrities rented the entire top floor for weekend getaways. Its marble lobby gleamed, its concierge staff spoke 6 languages, and its security team operated with a vigilance that made even seasoned investigators hesitate. But behind all that polish, something darker had taken root. And Jordan Blake knew it. She knew the numbers didn't add up. She knew about the unexplained fund transfers. She knew about the complaints that were silenced, the audits that were falsified, the names that were removed from ledgers just before quarterly reviews. In boardrooms across the city, executives had long whispered about a mole, someone who had managed to stay undetected while collecting sensitive material. Emails, contracts, ledgers, and photos. What they didn't realize was that Jordan Blake had never truly left the system. She had been fired publicly, yes, dismissed after raising questions during a quarterly risk meeting, but she hadn't disappeared. She had gone underground, reached out to former employees, connected with whistleblowers, and pieced together a story no one wanted told. And now here she was, back at the scene. The Horizon Grand. Calm, focused, determined. With every step through the lobby, every word she spoke to the front desk, every file she transferred from her drive, she inched closer to a revelation that would shake the hospitality industry. But the people watching her that day, staff like Gregory Stone, still didn't see it. To them, she was nobody. A disruption. A woman asking questions. Until the system shut down. Until the inspectors arrived. Until the walls started to close in. And still the question lingered. What exactly did Jordan Blake uncover inside the Horizon Grand that was so damning it couldn't be ignored? The truth wasn't just about money. It wasn't just about fraud. It was about a web of silence, fear, and power that had protected the hotel for over a decade. And Jordan was about to tear it apart, one truth at a time. Jordan Blake wasn't always a threat. There was a time she was welcomed through the same lobby doors with smiles and handshakes. A time when executives trusted her judgment. when her signature could trigger internal overhauls in operations, compliance, and financial transparency across a dozen properties. She was, by all definitions, one of them. A senior internal auditor with credentials from Ivy League institutions and a reputation for accuracy so precise, managers whispered that she could find a misfiled invoice in a sea of 10,000 records. Her name was printed in press releases when new hospitality chains signed on for compliance evaluation. She was quoted in trade magazines, featured in interviews, and flown across the country to lecture on risk management. But all of that vanished in less than 24 hours. 2 years ago, while conducting a routine audit for the Horizon Grand's parent company, Jordan found what she later called anomalies with intent. Numbers didn't add up. Service vendors were paid for work never performed. Accounts existed that had no traceable origin. Payments were made to what looked like subcontractors, but were actually dummy shell entities routed through offshore banks. When she brought her concerns to the board, she was reassigned, then suspended, then terminated without warning. No severance, no formal hearing, no acknowledgement. Within 2 weeks, her professional contacts dried up. She was disinvited from panels. Her certification status was under review. The message was clear. The industry had turned its back. But Jordan hadn't gone into hiding. She went silent, yes. Publicly vanished. Removed her online profiles. Changed her address. What the hotel chain didn't know was that she'd taken every file, every draft report, every flagged transaction, backed up and secured. And she hadn't stopped investigating. Using burner phones and encrypted communication, she reached out to maintenance staff, contractors, and even a few former assistant managers. A surprising number of people were willing to talk, as long as their names were never used. Jordan started piecing it together. A blueprint of manipulation. She studied the architecture of the Horizon Grand's operations, both literal and financial. She obtained copies of old building permits, updated fire safety logs, and floor schematics that showed sections of the hotel never included in guest-accessible maps. What was housed there? Why were they excluded from inspections? What was kept behind locked doors on the sub-level floors? She also received tips, anonymous at first, an internal memo that appeared to contradict a public safety statement, a grainy photograph of Gregory Stone, the general manager, meeting with an executive from a firm whose name had been removed from the hotel's approved vendor list. The emails came without signatures, often sent from disposable addresses, but the pattern was unmistakable. Someone on the inside wanted the truth exposed. Someone had been watching too. Jordan wasn't alone. In the months leading up to her reappearance, she was spotted in New Jersey near one of the satellite offices of the hotel's financial processing firm. A blurry photo showed her exiting a municipal building in Baltimore, where tax record discrepancies would later be linked to shell corporations tied to Horizon Grand. She'd been researching, traveling, gathering, waiting. And when she walked into the lobby of the Horizon Grand in Chicago 2 years after being erased from the industry, she wasn't there to settle a score. She was there to finish what she started. Behind the front desk, Gregory Stone didn't recognize her. He hadn't looked at her twice during the audit review that led to her firing. At the time, she was just another clipboard in a conference room. But Jordan hadn't forgotten him, or the role he played in signing documents that masked discrepancies and ignored flagged reports. She knew what had been hidden beneath the surface of this hotel. And now the time had come to uncover it for the world to see. 12:05 p.m. The revolving doors spun slowly as Jordan Blake stepped into the Horizon Grand Hotel. She wore no name tag, no badge, no branded blazer or formal credentials. Just a gray zip-up jacket, dark jeans, and a canvas shoulder bag. Her hair was pulled back. No makeup, no jewelry, nothing that would signal power or prestige. Just quiet, calm intent. The kind of person staff often overlook. And that's exactly what she counted on. 12:06 p.m. She made her way to the front desk. The lobby shimmered with late morning sunlight pouring through floor-to-ceiling windows. A concierge greeted her with a rehearsed smile. Do you have a reservation with us today? Jordan returned the smile with equal politeness. No, I just need to use the business center briefly. The request wasn't unusual, but it was unexpected. This was a hotel that guarded its amenities. Without a keycard, guests were often turned away, but Jordan didn't hesitate. She slid a sleek, black ID holder across the counter. The concierge squinted. The name read, Jordan Blake, Consultant. No company logo, just that. 12:07 p.m. The staff made a quick call to Gregory Stone, the manager on duty. A woman with no booking, no escort, and no explanation. It wasn't protocol, and Gregory didn't tolerate breaches. Keep her there, he said over the internal line. Security's on the way. But Jordan had already begun to move. She gave a small nod of thanks and stepped toward the business center alcove at the far end of the lobby, just beneath the mezzanine. She knew the layout. She remembered it from 2 years ago. 12:09 p.m. Two staffers began to chuckle as they watched her walk away. One whispered, "She thinks she's important." Another leaned toward the front desk screen, pulling up an empty reservation log. "She's nobody." Their laughter didn't bother her. She wasn't there for recognition. She was there for results. 12:11 p.m. Jordan sat down at one of the public business center terminals. She reached into her bag and pulled out a USB drive. No labels, no markings, just a standard black stick, one that had been encrypted, layered with automated scripts, and programmed for only one purpose. She plugged it in. The screen flickered once, then again. She clicked a few commands. The upload began. 12:14 p.m. Across the hotel, screens froze. The front desk system blinked red. Reservation logs vanished. Guest check-in access went offline. Card keys stopped syncing. Gregory Stone, now watching from the operations room, stood up from his seat. "What the hell is going on?" he barked. His IT staff stammered. "It looks like an internal data bridge. Something's pulling files from the inside." Jordan didn't look up. She knew they were watching her now. Cameras fixed from 4 angles. But she kept typing. The scripts were already active. 12:15 p.m. A dull hum passed through the hotel floor. Then the lights dimmed. The lobby chandeliers flickered, and for exactly 60 seconds, every surveillance camera in the building shut off. Blank feeds, no visuals, no audio, nothing but dead static. The IT room descended into chaos. Gregory demanded a reset, then backup lines. Nothing worked. And when the lights came back on, she was gone. No sign of her at the business center. No trace of her in the hallway. No exit footage. Her USB drive was missing. Her ID never scanned into the system. To anyone watching the footage later, it looked like she was never there. But what she left behind was far more dangerous. By the time the hotel's backup generators restored power to the full system, it was already too late. Staff scrambled to recover lost reservation data. Guests crowded the front desk in frustration. Business travelers missed check-ins. 2 wedding parties demanded immediate refunds. VIP clients called their corporate reps, threatening to blacklist the Horizon Grand from future events. Gregory Stone stood still in the middle of the operations floor, staring at the main screen that refused to load. For the first time in his 10-year tenure, he had no explanation. The chaos wasn't confined to the lobby. By midnight, the entire Horizon Hotel Group's central server system had been compromised. Emergency calls were made to cybersecurity consultants. Reports started to trickle in. Unauthorized file transfers, timestamps matching Jordan Blake's brief visit, and an embedded Trojan hiding in the guest management software. Not just a virus, a payload designed to extract. It had been collecting data for weeks, quietly mirroring emails, invoices, internal memos, and employee conversations flagged with specific keywords. The Trojan had one purpose: exposure. And then came the blog. No name, no author, just a plain text site titled Guest 1749. The first post appeared less than 12 hours after the shutdown. It featured a redacted employee contract with a forged signature, a leaked surveillance image of Gregory Stone instructing front desk agents to delete incident reports, and a financial ledger showing six-figure payments to entities no longer in business. Within 48 hours, the site posted dozens of documents, whistleblower complaints from former staff, medical records tied to workplace injuries never reported, and confidential emails detailing pressure from upper management to bypass health inspections. Police arrived in waves, first to secure the server rooms, then to interview staff. Every employee on shift was questioned. No one knew how Jordan Blake had gained access. No one remembered her signing in. No one could explain why her ID badge didn't appear in the system. One security guard said he saw her walking toward the elevators at 12:16 p.m., but there was no video to support it. The footage had gone dark. As pressure mounted, the hotel chain's stock plummeted, 18% overnight. Analysts called it an internal disaster. Shareholders demanded explanations. Press inquiries flooded the legal office. Within days, executives from the parent company scheduled an emergency hearing. It was clear that the damage was no longer just technical. It was reputational. And reputations, once shattered, don't come back clean. The investigation's turning point came late that week. The IT forensics team recovered a partial surveillance loop from an offline cache, a backup that hadn't been fully wiped. It was grainy, static in the corners, but it held a frame-by-frame progression of the business center hallway during the blackout window. In one shot, the screen showed nothing but empty carpet. Then movement. A blur. Then at 12:54 p.m., the elevator doors opened, and standing inside, sunglasses on, head slightly tilted, was Jordan Blake. She looked straight at the camera. Her expression was unreadable, calm, measured. She didn't flinch, didn't rush. She held her bag close to her side, raised one hand as if brushing a strand of hair away, and stepped backward into the elevator. The doors closed. It was the only visual confirmation the hotel ever got. A single freeze frame, pulled from a corrupted segment. That image circulated across executive inboxes and internal group chats with growing unease, because now they knew who had done it, but they had no idea where she had gone, or what she would release next. As public pressure intensified and the anonymous blog continued to publish documents on a daily schedule, media outlets could no longer ignore the story. National coverage began with cautious headlines: "Cyber attack disrupts elite hotel chain," and "Whistleblower may be behind data leak." But the story didn't stop with financial records or mistreated staff. What Jordan Blake exposed next shifted the entire narrative and revealed the true reason she had returned. At first, authorities believed the breach was about money, fraud, stolen funds, offshore laundering. But Jordan had always known that money was just the surface. Her investigation had traced the accounting irregularities deeper, beneath layers of shell companies and falsified reports, into something far more disturbing. Embedded in one of the leaked folders was a set of coded expense sheets labeled "Consultancy, Non-Disclosed," spanning 5 years, referencing foreign nationals, private guest floors not open to the public, and subcontractor invoices never cleared through HR. Then came the documents she called the core: confidential hotel communications, some routed through personal email servers, detailing arrangements with a third-party logistics firm that had no business listed anywhere in the state. Guest logs from private elevator routes not connected to the public floors. Redacted entries that, once decrypted, exposed a horrifying connection. Multiple unregistered international guests had been brought in under the guise of event support and then disappeared from record entirely. Journalists who obtained the leaked files ran the names through trafficking watch lists. At least 4 individuals had been reported missing in the same cities where Horizon Grand Properties operated. One was last seen walking into a conference suite, never checked out. Her family had spent 2 years searching for her. This was no longer just fraud. It was complicity. Political ties soon followed. Leaked voicemails from high-level hotel board members referenced payouts to elected officials. Campaign donations listed under unrelated foundations. One email showed a state senator thanking Gregory Stone by name for ensuring the discretion of the evening's gathering. Attached was an invoice for event privacy coordination. News networks began interviewing former staff who had been too afraid to speak until Jordan's blog gave them cover. A maintenance worker admitted to seeing locked crates delivered at odd hours. A night manager confessed to being told to disable certain cameras for celebrity privacy. The testimonies added weight to the files Jordan had released, and then came the voicemail. It was posted on the blog without any lead-up or commentary, just a 10-second audio clip clearly recorded on a phone. The voice was unmistakably hers. Jordan Blake. They tried to bury me with their secrets. Now I bury them with the truth. That message, calm and firm, became the most quoted line across every social platform for days. It aired in news specials. It was printed in bold across digital covers. For many, it confirmed what the document suggested, that Jordan had always intended to do more than just reveal fraud. She had returned to bring justice. And in doing so, she unearthed a scandal that no one inside the Horizon Grand, or those tied to its hidden network, ever thought would see daylight. The twist wasn't that she exposed them. It was that she had been watching all along, from the shadows, with purpose, with patience, with a strategy no one anticipated, until it was too late. In the days that followed the viral voicemail, headlines surged, and the public devoured every update like chapters in a high-stakes crime novel. But the most shocking detail hadn't been revealed yet. Because while Jordan Blake had become the name everyone associated with the Horizon Grand Hotel collapse, she wasn't the one who actually shut it down. What really brought the hotel to its knees wasn't the single act of Jordan plugging in a USB drive or the one-hour server crash. It was the chain reaction she triggered, an unstoppable domino effect fueled not by one woman's actions alone, but by the flood of truth that followed in her wake. Former employees, those who had been silenced, threatened, or fired, began speaking out, not in whispers, but in full statements. A former HR director admitted she had been forced to delete complaint records. A night shift concierge described unregistered guests arriving through loading docks. An IT contractor provided backup logs that showed the chain had been warned months earlier about security vulnerabilities, warnings that were ignored. Each voice gave more shape and substance to what Jordan had revealed. Each story added weight to the crumbling facade of the Horizon Grand. Lawsuits followed quickly. Class action claims from victims' families. Civil suits from ex-employees wrongfully terminated. Federal investigations opened not just into the hotel, but into its parent company and their political donors. Subpoenas arrived like clockwork. Within 3 weeks, the brand's legal liability was estimated in the hundreds of millions. Stockholders demanded change. Executives panicked. And finally, the founder and principal owner of Horizon Grand Holdings resigned publicly. No press conference, just a letter posted online, signed without emotion. And Jordan? She vanished again. There were no confirmed sightings, no interviews, no follow-up blog posts. Her name was discussed on television panels and podcasts. Theories surfaced online. Some said she had gone into witness protection. Others believed she never existed, that Jordan Blake was a manufactured identity built for the leak. But law enforcement records confirmed it. She was real. She had walked into the lobby that day, calm and deliberate, and walked out minutes later without a trace. No one had seen her since. And that was perhaps the most profound part of the story. In an industry built on luxury and illusion, status and secrecy, one woman walked into a gleaming tower of prestige and quietly exposed what it really was. Not with chaos, not with rage, but with documentation, silence, and unshakable resolve. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't demand the spotlight. She didn't even wait to see the aftermath unfold. She lit the match and left before the smoke reached the ceiling. And when all the noise faded, only one truth remained. Justice didn't knock. It walked in, calm, uninvited, and unforgiving. So what do you think? Was Jordan Blake a hero or a criminal? A whistleblower with unmatched courage, or a rogue agent taking justice into her own hands? Would you have believed her if she walked into your lobby? No reservation, no title, No introduction, just a quiet presence with a purpose no one saw coming. She didn't carry a press badge or a legal team. She didn't shout, threaten, or even hesitate. She walked in, made her move, and disappeared, leaving behind only truth, destruction, and a trail of questions no PR team could explain away. In a world where silence is often rewarded and appearance means everything, Jordan proved that a single person, calculated, committed, and invisible, could still change the entire game. Let us know in the comments. What would you have done if you were Gregory Stone? What if you were the security guard watching that feed? Or one of the employees who had buried secrets for years? And if you thought this was wild, wait until you see other stories that will be uploaded on this channel. Subscribe for more real-life thrillers.